Hello everyone. I'm truly lucky to have you here. My story doesn't have much drama or a fast pace, so I hope you can take your time, relax, and enjoy it. If you don't find it interesting or have any suggestions for improvement, please leave a comment below so I can make each video better. Once again, thank you so much for being here. Wishing you a relaxing time with Moonlitwest. How was your day today? Was work too exhausting? We can share with each other. I would love to hear from people all over the world about their work, their emotions, or anything in life that they are willing to share. Leave all your worries and fatigue outside the door, and let's relax together. Do you still remember the feeling of childhood? Those carefree days of playing, the quiet summer nights under a starry sky, the times you closed your eyes and made a wish upon the first star in the night sky. Perhaps, amidst the rush of life, all of us have, at some point, longed to return to those moments, those simple yet precious times when just a goodnight wish was enough to bring peace to the heart. Let's step into this story where the laughter of children echoes across a tranquil farm, where the light from a small wooden house always shines, waiting for the footsteps of loved ones to return, where every evening ends with a gentle hug and a warm goodnight wish. Goodnight wishes on Grandma's farm. The afternoon sun gently spread its warm golden rays over the vast green fields. The space here was expansive and peaceful, with only the soft rustling of the wind passing through the trees, blending harmoniously with the cheerful chirping of birds on the branches. Wildflowers of vibrant colors swayed with the breeze, as if they were playing with nature itself. In the middle of the farm, a small pond reflected the clear blue sky. The water's surface rippled slightly each time a gentle breeze passed through, carrying the sweet scent of the countryside. This was Lena and Leo's favorite place whenever they visited their grandparents. Today was no different. The two siblings joyfully splashed around, their laughter ringing through the peaceful late afternoon. Leo, the little brother, playfully tossed water into the air, making tiny droplets sparkle like miniature crystals under the sunlight. Lena smiled, reaching out to catch the cool water droplets before playfully splashing Leo back. Both burst into laughter, fully immersed in the refreshing sensation of water against their skin. From afar, their grandparents sat on the porch, watching the two children with warm, loving eyes. Grandpa chuckled, setting down his cup of herbal tea on the wooden table, while Grandma gently tilted her head, humming a soft lullaby. Nearby, Max, the family's loyal dog, lazily lay on the grass, wagging his tail and twitching his ears to the familiar sounds of the farm. The entire space was wrapped in a warm, harmonious embrace of nature and family. The evening quietly approached, carrying with it the purity and innocence of childhood memories. Lena and Leo continued to enjoy their time in the water, unaware that an evening filled with warmth and love was waiting just ahead. Dear viewers of the channel, before we continue the story, please support us by clicking on the logo at the bottom right corner of the screen to like and subscribe. The channel is getting closer to 199 subscribers, and each subscription from you is a great motivation for us to continue bringing more heartwarming and meaningful stories. Now, let's continue with the warm story of these two little ones and their beloved farm. Lena, Leo, it's time. Grandma's voice called out from the grassy bank, not too loud, but just enough for the siblings to hear over the splashing water and their gleeful laughter. It was a voice so warm and gentle, like a soft evening breeze, a familiar sound that brought a sense of peace whenever they heard it. Lena was about to scoop up another handful of water to splash at Leo, but when she heard Grandma, she stopped and turned to her little brother. Leo was still laughing, water dripping from his tousled wet hair, his eyes sparkling with pure joy. "We have to go," Lena said softly, though she too felt a tinge of reluctance at ending their fun. Leo pouted slightly, but when he looked over at Grandma standing on the grass, holding two large fluffy towels, he understood that it was time to leave the water. Slowly, the two siblings waded out of the pond, water trickling down their bare feet onto the ground. The evening air felt cooler, and the lingering chill of the water made them shiver slightly. But as soon as Grandma wrapped the soft towels around them, the cold disappeared instantly, replaced by a cozy warmth, as if they were being enveloped in a giant cloud of cotton. Lena's towel draped down to her knees, while Leo, being smaller, had his nearly touching the ground. Amused, he pulled up the edges like a knight's cape, while Lena wrapped hers tightly around her, breathing in the faint scent of sun-dried fabric and the fresh countryside breeze. Grandma smiled, then gently took their hands, leading them along the narrow path back home. The grass under their feet felt like velvet, and occasionally tiny wildflowers brushed against their ankles, as if bidding farewell to the long day. A cool breeze swept across the distant fields, carrying with it the fragrant scent of ripening grains, the earthy aroma of sun-kissed soil, and the delicate sweetness of wildflowers. The sky was still bright, but the sunlight had softened, casting a gentle golden hue over the landscape. The leaves shimmered under the evening glow, creating flickering shadows on the ground. In the distance, flocks of birds returned to their nests, gliding across the pink and orange sky in pairs, their calls echoing like a farewell to the fading afternoon. Leo squeezed his grandmother's warm and steady hand, feeling as if an invisible blanket was wrapping around them. Lena walked beside them, her small feet lightly touching the soft grass, her head resting gently against Grandma's arm. Under the serene sky, the three of them strolled together, unhurried, savoring every step. The farm came into view, with the cozy wooden house nestled among the trees. The lights from the windows had already been turned on, casting a warm golden glow, as if the house itself was welcoming them back. Their short evening walk had been peaceful, like a soft melody of the late afternoon, where every breeze, every rustling leaf, and every step told a story of its own. As they stepped onto the wooden porch, Lena and Leo shivered slightly, feeling the cool air from inside the house, a stark contrast to the lingering warmth outside. The cream-colored curtains swayed gently in the evening breeze, revealing glimpses of the golden light spilling through the small window panes. Grandma and Grandpa's wooden house carried the breath of tranquil days. The front porch, shaded by a canopy of purple bougainvillea, held sturdy, well-worn rocking chairs, Grandpa's favorite spot for reading in the afternoon, or quietly watching the sunset melt into the distant fields. A hammock, stretched between two wooden beams, swayed lazily, inviting anyone into a peaceful midday nap. As soon as the door swung open, a sweet, familiar aroma filled the air, wrapping around Lena and Leo like an invisible embrace. It was the scent of Grandma's freshly baked pastries, a comforting fragrance that, with every inhale, made them feel as if they had returned to their most cherished childhood memories. Grandma gently placed her hands on their backs and leaned down, whispering, "Go get changed, then come down for dinner." The siblings nodded eagerly and ran up the wooden staircase to their small attic bedroom. The cozy room, with its wooden ceiling and a window overlooking the vast meadows, offered a perfect view of the sun setting behind the trees. Grandma opened the wardrobe, taking out 2 sets of soft pajamas, and carefully used a warm towel to dry Leo's damp hair, while Lena dried hers with another towel. Changing into dry clothes after a long day of fun felt wonderful. Their pajamas, carrying the fresh scent of sun and country air, wrapped them in the warmth of home. Once Leo had dressed, he spun in front of the mirror, giggling at his slightly tousled hair. Lena glanced at her brother and laughed too, feeling her heart lighten with joy. From downstairs, Grandpa's voice called them to dinner, sending a rush of excitement through the siblings. They dashed down the stairs, their feet barely touching the steps. In the center of the kitchen, a sturdy wooden dining table was set, with steaming bowls of soup and a basket of freshly baked bread, its crust perfectly golden and crisp. Grandma ladled hot soup into their bowls, filling the air with the comforting aroma of simmered vegetables and familiar spices. Lena and Leo sat down, their small hands carefully cradling the warm bowls. They took deep breaths, savoring the delicious scent, before taking the first spoonful. As the warmth of the broth spread through them, they tasted the natural sweetness of the vegetables, blending harmoniously with the rich, savory flavors. The only sounds in the room were the gentle clinking of spoons against bowls and the occasional exchanged glances of delight. Grandma smiled tenderly, while Grandpa took a slow sip of his herbal tea, his eyes filled with quiet affection. "Did you have fun today?" he asked, his deep voice as soothing as an old, familiar melody. Lena's eyes sparkled as she nodded. "Yes. We even saw a flock of ducks swimming in the pond." Leo, still stirring his soup, grinned widely. "And we raced back home, but Lena won." He pouted for a moment, before his expression lit up again as Grandma placed a warm, golden pastry in front of him. The kitchen filled with the sounds of laughter, the gentle clinking of dishes, and the rhythmic stirring of spoons in tea. It was a peaceful evening, like any other on the farm, but special in its own way, wrapped in warmth, family, and the beauty of life's simplest moments. After their cozy dinner, Lena and Leo pushed back their chairs, still feeling the lingering warmth of a satisfying meal. Grandma smiled and gently ruffled their hair before reminding them, in her soft, breezy voice, "It's time to brush your teeth." Hand in hand, the siblings cheerfully ran up the stairs to the bathroom. The small, charming bathroom glowed under the soft golden light, and a large mirror reflected their eager faces. On the wooden shelf next to the sink, 2 toothbrushes stood neatly in a pastel blue ceramic cup. Lena reached for hers first, a toothbrush with a tiny hand-drawn flower on the handle, a small but special mark of her own. Beside it, Leo picked up his toothbrush, which was covered in random scribbles from a marker he had once used. Every time he looked at it, he chuckled to himself. It didn't resemble a flower or an animal, just spontaneous, playful lines of creativity. Grandma stood behind them, quietly watching as the two children carefully squeezed toothpaste onto their toothbrushes. Lena began brushing her teeth slowly, moving the brush meticulously from the inside out, just as Grandma had taught her. At first, Leo was a bit rushed, but after watching his sister, he imitated her, trying to move his toothbrush slower and more evenly. A soft clicking sound filled the air as their toothbrushes tapped against their teeth, blending with the gentle trickling of water from the faucet. The cool scent of mint spread through their mouths, bringing a refreshing sensation. Leo playfully blew a bit of foamy toothpaste onto his hand and chuckled, but Lena quickly shot him a playful glare. He immediately bent over the sink, spitting out the foam before rinsing his mouth thoroughly, leaving a lingering coolness on his tongue. Grandma stood beside them, her gaze full of warmth and affection. When both children placed their toothbrushes back into the cup, she gently patted their backs and said softly, "Well done. You two are growing up so fast, so independent. That makes me very happy." Lena and Leo exchanged glances and then smiled brightly. Being praised by Grandma made them feel as if a little light had just been lit inside them, a quiet, yet deeply warm sense of pride. Before leaving the bathroom, Lena adjusted the toothbrush cup to make it perfectly aligned, while Leo eagerly wiped a few stray water droplets from the sink with his sleeve. Then, hand in hand, they stepped out of the bathroom, feeling fresh and ready for a peaceful evening on their beloved farm. Outside, the moon had risen high, casting a soft silver glow over the vast fields. The air felt fresher, carrying the crisp breath of the late night, swirling around each blade of grass and leaf, still damp with dew. Lena and Leo, still holding hands, walked slowly toward the horse stable, where Luna stood quietly in the shadows, her pointed ears twitching slightly as she heard their approaching footsteps. Luna was a special horse, her deep reddish-brown coat gleaming under the moonlight. Her large, gentle brown eyes seemed to hold endless patience, as if she could always hear the whispered thoughts of her little friends. As Lena and Leo drew near, Luna let out a soft whinny, a tender greeting just for them. Lena reached out first, her small fingers brushing against Luna's warm, velvety coat. She ran her hand gently along the horse's mane, each strand soft and silky, like a flowing ribbon. Beside her, Leo placed his hand on Luna's neck, feeling the quiet strength beneath his fingertips. This was a part of the farm, a part of the childhood memories they cherished so dearly. Grandma reached into her apron pocket and pulled out 2 small carrots, handing one to each child. Their eyes sparkled with excitement as they held out their treats. Luna's eyes glimmered with delight as she lowered her head, her soft lips gently wrapping around the carrot in Leo's hand first. The sound of slow, content munching filled the peaceful night air. Leo giggled as Luna's breath tickled his fingers. Lena then offered her carrot, and Luna wasted no time accepting it, savoring it as though it was the sweetest treat before bedtime. "Good night, Luna," Lena whispered, patting the horse's strong neck. Leo echoed, "See you tomorrow." Luna let out a gentle whinny, as if returning their goodnight wishes. Her ears twitched, and her long tail swayed lightly in the stillness of the farm. The siblings stood for a moment longer, soaking in the quiet, listening to the chirping of crickets and the faint rustling of the nighttime breeze. Grandma placed a reassuring hand on their shoulders, signaling that it was time to continue their goodnight journey. Lena and Leo obediently followed, heading toward the pond, where the soft chirping of ducklings created a lullaby-like melody against the night. As they stepped away from the stable, Lena and Leo both took deep breaths, inhaling the familiar scent of the farm at night. The cool wind carried the earthy fragrance of the fields, mingling with the distant scent of wildflowers. Grandma let out a gentle whistle, the sound carrying through the tranquil night air. Within moments, a familiar figure darted from the porch, racing toward them with the speed of a gust of wind. It was Max, the farm's loyal dog. His fluffy tail wagged nonstop, his bright eyes full of excitement as he bounded toward his two favorite companions. Lena crouched first, running her fingers through Max's thick, soft fur. The dog leaned into her touch, nuzzling his head against her hand in an affectionate greeting. Leo, not wanting to be left out, quickly knelt beside her, laughing as Max sniffed at his palm, as if searching for a hidden treat. "There's nothing there, Max ... Leo chuckled, gently patting the dog's back. Max wagged his tail even harder, before suddenly leaping up to lick Leo's hand, making the boy burst into a fit of giggles. Lena watched with a smile, before giving Max one last hug before standing up. Grandma looked at them with a soft, knowing expression. "All right," she said warmly. "It's time to say goodnight to the chickens." Max immediately trotted ahead, as if he already knew the nightly routine by heart. The siblings eagerly followed Grandma, crossing the small yard toward the chicken coop, where the gentle clucking of hens could already be heard in the quiet of the night. The chicken coop sat beside the vegetable garden, built from sturdy wood and enclosed with wire mesh to protect the tiny residents inside. As Lena and Leo approached, they could see 3 mother hens patiently calling their chicks back to the nest. The brown hen stood in the center of the coop, flapping her wings slightly before lowering her head and letting out a warm cluck. Instantly, 3 tiny, golden-feathered chicks scurried toward her, nestling under her wide wings. Nearby, the white hen did the same, gathering her 2 little ones close, while the black speckled hen shielded her 4 chicks, whose patterned feathers matched her own. Lena rested her chin on her hands, watching the heartwarming scene unfold. The tiny chicks tucked their heads into their mother's soft feathers, their eyes growing drowsy, as if the warmth of those wide wings was the coziest blanket in the world. "They look so warm," Leo whispered, afraid that speaking too loudly would disrupt the peaceful moment. Grandma smiled, gently placing her hands on their shoulders. "That's right. A mother hen always protects her chicks, just like how your mother and I always want to keep you 2 safe." Lena and Leo nodded quietly, then stepped toward the coop door. Lena carefully latched the small wooden gate, ensuring the chickens were safe for the night. Max sat nearby, ears perked, silently observing as if making sure everything was in order. "Good night, little ones," Lena murmured, gently touching the wooden fence. "Good night," Leo echoed, before giving Max a quick pat on the head, as if thanking him for accompanying them on their journey. From inside the coop, soft clucking sounds drifted out, as if whispering a reply. Lena and Leo turned to Grandma, their hands wrapping around hers tightly, feeling a deep sense of peace. Grandma smiled, her eyes as gentle as the moonlight shining over the distant fields, and with that, the three of them continued their walk back home, where the warmth of the kitchen and the comfort of soft blankets awaited them for a peaceful night on the farm. As they made their way home, the world around them seemed to grow quieter. The night sky stretched above like a vast velvet canvas, wrapping the farm in its gentle embrace. The bright sunlight of the day had faded, replaced by the soft glow of the moon, casting a silver sheen over the land. Lena squeezed Grandma's hand and looked up, her eyes suddenly lighting up. "Look, the first star." Leo immediately stopped and followed his sister's gaze. In the deep night sky, a tiny star had just appeared, twinkling in the vast expanse, as if someone had gently lit it up. Though small, its glow was unmistakable, shimmering like a delicate jewel in the darkness. Grandma smiled softly and gave their little hands a gentle squeeze. "The first star of the night is always special," she said, her voice warm like a passing breeze. "You can make a wish." Lena and Leo remained silent for a moment, their eyes locked onto the distant star. Within their young hearts, a quiet wish was made, simple yet filled with the sincerity of childhood. The three of them stood there, amidst the hushed fields, embracing the tranquil beauty of the moment. Only the whispering wind rustling through the trees, the distant chirping of crickets, and the flickering glow of fireflies weaving through the grass broke the silence, painting their own stories in the night. When the golden glow of their wooden house came into view, Lena and Leo knew it was time to end the day. The wooden steps creaked softly beneath their feet as they climbed onto the familiar porch, their bare feet touching the warmth and safety of home. From the windows, the light spilled gently onto the wooden walls, radiating an invisible warmth that could only be found in a place called home. Grandma pushed open the bedroom door, allowing the soft glow to fill the cozy room. Lena and Leo climbed into bed, wrapping themselves in the plush blankets, still carrying the warmth of the day. Outside, the night's chorus continued, the distant hum of insects blending with the gentle breeze drifting through the open window. Peace settled over them like a comforting embrace, as if the entire farm was singing them a lullaby. Grandma sat on the edge of the bed, gently tucking a stray lock of hair behind Lena's ear before leaning down to place a kiss on Leo's forehead. "Good night, my sweet children," she whispered, her voice as soft as a breath, as warm as the blankets cocooning them. Lena and Leo closed their eyes, their breathing slowly evening out. In the quiet of the night, the first star in the sky continued to twinkle, silently watching over their dreams, carrying their wishes far into the vast universe. Thank you for joining us for tonight's story. We hope these warm moments have brought you a sense of relaxation and comfort, helping you drift into a peaceful sleep. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss our next gentle bedtime story. The channel is getting closer to 199 subscribers, and each subscription is like a pair of wings that help us continue to soar, See you tomorrow night for another heartwarming story. Wishing you a restful night and the sweetest dreams. Good night, and see you soon.